This is our last question in our revision paper. Question 7A says, with reference to written communication, explain the following terms. So number one, we're going to talk about coherence, and in terms of written communication, coherence is whereby you follow a certain logical order when drafting your communication. You know, in communication, consistency is very much important. If you mix up the communication, the receiver will get a very hard time in terms of understanding it and interpreting it. But at least when you arrange your information or communication in such a way that you have an introduction, then main communication, then conclusion, it's very easy for someone to have a smooth transition, to be able to understand and connect. That consistency, so that logical order is what will make this person basically have a good understanding about whatever you're trying to to communicate. So in written communication, coherence is the ability of you arranging your communication in such a way that it can follow a certain order, it can have a certain consistency, it can transit from one point to the other, so that there's connection between the different paragraphs or the different parts of the communication. So here they say it means systematic or logical connection or consistency. The term coherence refers to the smooth flow of ideas in a text. There are two main strategies that will make your writing coherent. One, organizing your ideas in a logical order. And then the second thing, connecting them effectively by using transition words and phrases. That is the only thing that can make our communication to be coherent. Follow a certain logical order, have connection from one part to the other of the communication. If we're talking about different paragraphs, ensure the paragraphs are transiting well, one paragraph to the other until the end of the communication. So by following such a logical order will help the receiver of the information to understand it in a very easy and to have a good connection between the different parts of your communication. And then you have proofreading. Proofreading is also like, it's a kind of like putting into check what has been written, to eliminate typing problems or typing errors, and maybe to eliminate certain remarks or wordings that should not be there, and so on and so forth. So it's putting your communication in order. You read it before you send it wherever you want to send it, to ensure that you send the right thing. So they say proofreading means checking a final draft carefully and correcting typos, grammatical mistakes, and other writing issues before publication. Proofreading is the last step of writing process. It means carefully checking for errors in a text before it is published or shared. It is the last stage of writing process when you fix minor spelling and punctuation mistakes, typos, and formatting issues and inconsistency. So it's the process of putting into check what you've already written before you submit it, so that you ensure that whatever you submit is clean and on point. No errors to do with typing errors, no errors to do with punctuation marks, no errors to do with misspellings, and so on and so forth. So that is proofreading. And then last word is revising. And revising is the arrangement and fine-tuning of a fully developed, if not totally completed draft, so that thesis and hypothesis is aligned with the writer's purpose, the audience's needs and characteristics, the development of the argument, and the persuasion of the conclusion. So it's somehow, when you talk of revising, it's somehow same to proofreading. It's only that in proofreading the document is ready for submission, so you are trying to proofread to ensure that it's clean and there are no errors. But in revising, you can revise even a draft, not a must that you are revising a ready to send document. Revising can refer to either a completed document or even a draft. So it's a matter of fine-tuning to ensure that things are in order, things are very much well, so that whatever you are writing is in connection to whatever purpose you have for sending that particular communication. So those are some of the terms that you needed to have a look at in question 7A. And then question 7B, list 6 measures that a sender could consider to ensure clarity of a message. Assume you're the sender of the message. What is it that you could do to ensure clarity of the message? First of all, avoid jargons. Avoid big words where possible. Just use simple words, easy to understand words. You'll make the communication very clear. Keep it very short and simple. When it's short, you'll be able to read and understand and comprehend everything. But when it's a bit long, sometimes you can read and get tired on the way or along the way, of which that can affect with understanding ability. So keep it short and simple. Always be specific. Avoid the issue of generalization. Try to be as specific as possible. That will ensure that the receiver of the communication is going to understand it. And then avoid using terms and phrases that could mean different things to different people. So it's better you do a research to ensure that the terms or the phrases you put in your communication will exactly mean whatever you mean with the other party. Sometimes you can just use a word which can mean different to you and the other person to get another different meaning. So ensure you do your thorough research before putting those phrases and words, to ensure you use words which will bring about the same meaning to both of you, the sender and the receiver of the message. And then also ask questions and encourage feedback. Yes, that is the only way you can gauge the level of understanding and the level of clarity of your message. Let the people ask you whenever they've not understood, in order for them to get whatever it is that you are trying to tell them. So ask questions and encourage feedback. That can also help you to ensure you give a message that is clear. And then lastly, know your audience. By knowing your audience, that means you prepare something that suits them. And for example, I say, how you present to kids is not how you're going to present to adults or maybe mature people. These are two different presentations. So depending on who your target audience is, you need to have a good understanding about them so that you can come up with a message that will basically suit that audience. So those are some of the measures that you could use to ensure clarity of your message. Then we have C, question 7C. Sorry for that, which is our last one. Describe 4 ways in which upward communication could be enhanced in an organization. 4 ways in which upward communication could be enhanced in an organization. What are some of the things that can be done to enhance upward communication within an organization? Upward communication is the method of communication whereby junior staff can communicate with the senior staff. A subordinate can communicate to his supervisors, managers, name it. So what could be done in an organization to improve such kind of a communication? 1, foster a culture of open communication. That means people will be always willing and ready to communicate. Whether it's a junior staff, will not have that fear or threat to communicate to his boss or to his supervisor. So foster a culture of open communication. And then create channels that enable upward communication. Yes, create channels that can enable a junior staff to be able to reach his senior supervisor, manager, etc. Have channels which allow that to happen, because in some organizations the channels are very much strict. There's no way a junior staff can communicate upward. Communication only comes from upward, from the people in the higher rank coming downwards, of which that can be very wrong, since people on the ground know what is really happening. Sometimes they might have ideas and suggestions which could be very vital, and they don't know how to present them to you, basically because the channels of communication within an organization do not support upward communication. So ensure you create channels that enable upward communication to take place within organization. And then also institutionalize feedback. Make feedback to be a must, or not. Don't make it to be optional, but make it to be a mandatory, so to say. That is the only way I'm going to encourage people, even from the junior level, to be able to communicate upwards, because they know at the end of the day I have to give report, or there's a certain feedback that I have to give to my boss, I have to give to my supervisor, I have to give to my manager. So the moment you institutionalize feedback, that is how you're going to encourage and empower people to communicate upwards. And then encourage managers to be approachable. Yes, when the managers are approachable, even the people in their junior level or the people who are beneath or below them will be free to communicate with them. But when they're not approachable, then even the sense of having the junior staff communicate to the managers will become very difficult. So encourage managers to be approachable so that the junior staff could feel free to communicate to them whenever they are in need. And lastly, create channels for upward communication, of which this is the same as number 2. This is one and the same. Create channels for upward communication, channels that will enable the junior, the people from the down level of management, to be able to communicate with the people in the upper level of management. So that is our paper of Atd 03 Entrepreneurship and Communication, April 2023. And thank you for